So we're going to study the Sephirot of Yesod tonight. Last week we learned about Malchut, the physical world, and what was the most important thing about how to be in the world of Malchut. Do you remember? Junam? Don't be shy. Certainty was the byproduct of something that we have to have. Ira. The awe. The awe. Yani chi? Awareness. The more you are aware, yani the only solution into the world of Malchut is what? Awareness. Awareness of what?
That you are not in control.
Well, before that. Awareness of what? The presence of God. Awareness, the presence of light in everything. In everybody, every situation, everything. The light of God is there. And your awareness makes you capable of being in control. Having certainty. When you know there is God, then you have certainty. In order to receive certainty is awareness of the light force of God. اگه هنوز یادتون نیست definitely CD هفته پیشو بگیرین و گوش کنین. اوکی. پس کلاس امشب هست راجع به از پایین میریم بالا. We are in Yesod. We are in Yesod. What is Yesod? همه تنسفیرات رو میبینن یا بیارمش بالاتر؟ Everybody see it? آره؟ Yesod is the gateway to the upper world. اگه دقت کرده باشین همه سفیروتا they end up in Yesod و بعد یسود نوری که از انصاف میاد جمع میشه توی یسود و از from Yesod comes to Malchut. So Yesod is the gateway, is the channel, is the bridge to the upper world. یه چیزی که امشب میخوام باهاتون ریویو کنم یه مقدار تکنیکاله ولی bear with me. ما یاد گرفتیم که 10 تا سفیرا داریم 10 تا سفیرات داریم در حقیقت 5 تا سفیرا داریم. We have کتر، خخما، بینا. بعد این 6 تا سفیرای وسط خسد، گبورا، تیفرت، نتزع، خود، یسود consider to be as one سفیرا by itself. این 6 تا سفیرای وسط یک کار رو با هم انجام میدن. They do one thing and they call them ze'er and pin. The word ze'er and pin is the combination of these 6 energy forces, these 6 Sephirot, these 6 what was the term we learned last week? Transmitters, restrictors, generators, consciousness, vessels. یعنی نوری که از انصاف میاد توسط این 6 تا سفیرا which they call them ze'er and pin اون وقت هست که این نور میاد توی ملخوت. و بعد گیتویش چیه؟ گیتوی که ما میرسیم به این دنیا به این consciousness ze'er and pin the first level, the first step, the first house, the first gateway, اولین دروازه is Yesod. Ze'er and pin it's an Aramaic word به معنی small face. Face توی لنگویج کبالا به معنی نوره. Ze'er and pin یعنی little bit less than the real light. Little bit less than the real light. حالا we'll get to it. ما 2 جور نور داریم. We have 2 type of light. یه نوری که بهش میگن نور خخما، نور wisdom و یک نوری که بهش میگن نور خسیدیم، نور مرسی. یعنی چی؟ تکرار میکنم. We have 2 kind of lights. یکی نوری که بهش میگن نور خخما یا نور ویزدم. خخما به معنی ویزدمه which is the light force of the creator. اگه نور از انصاف میاد که گفتیم 100% نوره، وقتی که میرسه به خخما چقدر نوره رو داره؟ is 80% light. 20% restrict شده. So it's pure light. بهش میگن اور خخما، نور خخما، نور ویزدم. بعد نور دیگری وجود داره که بهش میگن اور خسیدیم، نور مرسی. نور مرسی چیه؟ نور مرسی کانسیلمنت نور خخماست. یعنی این نوری که ما دریافت میکنیم که بهش میگیم نور خخما، نور ویزدم، تنها جوری من میتونم، به تنها صورتی من میتونم این نور رو دریافت بکنم که کلودش بکنم، توی یه ظرفی بذارمش، توی یه شکلی بذارمش، توی یه لباسی بذارمش که بتونم این نور رو دریافت بکنم. این لباسه، این ظرفه، بهش میگن اور خسیدیم یا نور مرسی. مرسی به همون معنی مهربونی و بخشندگی. تنها جوری این نور خخما، این نور ویزدم خودش رو توی دنیا منیفست میکنه که از طریق نور مرسی به ما برسه. somehow این 6 تا سفیرای وسط یک سیچویشنی رو به وجود میارن، یک انوایرومنتی رو به وجود میارن، یک پوششی رو به وجود میارن که ما بتونیم این نور خخما رو دریافت کنیم. یعنی اگر این 6 تا سفیرات نبودن و این نور خخما، نوری که the light force هست، به ما میرسید، مستقیم به ما میرسید، ما رو میسوزوند. یک روز در سال هست که این نور خخما بدون هلپ نور مرسی، بدون نور خسدیم به ما میرسه. There's only one day. نهم آب which is considered to be the most difficult day، روزیه که این 6 تا سفیرای اکتیویت نیستن. They're shut off، کانسیلن، دورمیر، خوابیدن و این نوره میاد، نهم آبه، چه کار میکنیم؟ وحشت میکنیم، تعنیت میگیریم، واو. Yes, destruction of the temple 1 and temple 2 and a lot of other destruction. پس نتیجه میگیریم که ما اگر میخوایم این نور خخما رو، نور ویزدم رو دریافت بکنیم، باید توی یک لایه‌ای بذاریمش، توی یک پوششی بذاریمش، توی یک فریمی بذاریمش، توی یک کلودینگ بذاریمش که بهش میگیم نور مرسی، نور مرسی یا نور خسدی. و زیرانپین این کار رو برای ما انجام میده. هیچ وقت دقت کردین که شنبه ها وقتی که میخوان برای خواهی شبات بگن، وقتی که جام شراب رو میریزن، they add a little bit of the water to it. Have you noticed? Why do they do that?
Actually asked us from K1. He said it's to cancel the judgment.
Bravo. It's exactly what we're talking about. Sharab by itself is the or chokhmah, نور خخماست. By injecting یک ذره آب بهش، آب چیه خصلتش؟ Mercy, kindness, love. By injecting little bit love، توتالیتی ماهیت شراب رو عوض میکنیم. From being a light of chokhmah will make it a light of mercy. عوضش میکنیم. یه مثال ساده براتون بزنم. اگر که همین ربایی که امشب برای من یه شات وادکا آورده بود، it was all or chokhmah. It was very harsh. اگر یک ذره دیدین میگن ویسکی on ice، on rock یا وادکا یه ذره بهش you add something to it to make it تو هارنسش بکنیم که بتونیم لذتش ببریم. وگرنه اگه هیچ وقت هیچ کسی یه نفر تکیلا نخورده باشه یه شات تکیلا بهش میزنه نمیدونم این وادکایی بود چی بود. So برگردیم سر این. هر دفعه اگه دقت کرده باشین مخصوصا کبالیستا توی ایران هم ما کردیم and I didn't know why. یعنی وقتی که مادر من اون کاپ شرابو شب شباتو میشستنش آمادهش میکردن من میدیدم همیشه یه ذره they leave a little bit of the water at the bottom of the cup. I didn't know why then. خیال میکردم بعضی وقتا من گفتم چرا بقیه آب رو خالی بکنن ولی نه they left a little water to add to the wine. به خاطری که wine by itself has نور خخما رو داره نور ویزدم رو داره and it's harsh to take it like that. It's too difficult. It creates short circuit. همینطوری که گلوی منو سوزوند اگه تشریف داشتید اول کلاس اگر یه ذره توش آیس کرده بود یه لیمویی فرمونه میشد ارخسیدیم. We'll get there. پس نتیجه میگیریم که اگر من میخوام نوری رو که دریافت میکنم که بهش میگیم اور خخما نور ویزدم رو دریافت بکنم اگر میخوام برن نشم اگر میخوام بتونم استفادهش بکنم باید بیارمش توی قالبی توی یک کلوزینگی توی یک کانسیلمنتی از نور مرسی نور اور خسیدیم. How do we do that? In real life. Let's bring it home. What are we talking about? من نور خدا رو لازم دارم. We need the life force of God in your life. You need it all the time. You need it in your life. You want it in your business. You want it in your family relationship. You want it in health. You want it in every aspect of your life. You want this light. ولی receiving this light in the straight way. الان داریم یاد میگیریم که it's too strong, it's too harsh, it's probably going to burn you out. How can I receive it? If I can create a shield that can handle this light and change the outlook of this light from or chokhmah to or chasidim از نور wisdom تبدیلش بکنم به نور مرسی اون وقت کارمو کردم. How can we do it in this world?
Always add some chesed to it.
Bravo. How do you add chesed to it?
By being kind.
By being kind, by being giving, by being sharing. You shape this light. You change, you make this light in a way that you can handle it, that you can take advantage of it, that you can use it. So by creating what? Creating a system that we call it Zeir and Pin. پس این نوره که میاد نتیجه گیری میخوام بکنم. نوری که به طرف ما میاد اگر من که این نور رو احتیاج بهش دارم in every aspect of my life if I draw it directly without any form of clothing it without any form of fixing it if I draw it directly it's going to burn me out. درست مثل چی میمونه؟ مثل drugs right؟ وقتی که یه نفر هروئین استفاده میکنه یا کوکائین استفاده میکنه or every other awful chemical drugs که داریم immediately وقتی که یه نفر کوکائین استفاده میکنه یا هروئین میزنه immediately they reach بینا. Immediately they go from Malchut straight up to Bina.
That's why they hallucinate.
That's why they love it. They experience Bina in an amazing way. وقتی که ما یه شات مشروب هم میزنیم مثل این شاتی که به من داد you immediately اگر البته درینک خوب باشه این زیاد خوب باشه You feel good. Why do you feel good? Because you taste the light that is coming from Bina, which is Or Chokhmah. Nur Chokhmas. We receive it. What's wrong with drug? It takes you up there, but it doesn't keep you there. You immediately drop. اینه که یارو که یه لاین کوک میزنه دقیقه اول میگه فیلم چیزا دیدین The Wolf of Wall Street یه لاین کوک میزنه میگه wow, oh my god, wow. But then a few minutes after درست کاریه که ساتان میکنه. It takes you up there and it drops you. They drop back to Malchut, and because they tasted the Bina without Or Chasedim, without generating یک پوششی، یک لباسی براش, without adding a little water to that wine, because they don't inject any mercy to it, any restriction, any form of پوشش, any protection, چی میشه؟ این دیگه وجود نداره. They reach to Bina, اون خاصیت دراگه for a few seconds از بین میره. From Bina you drop down to Malchut. And it feels awful.
Bina of Malchut.
From Bina you drop without the Zerampin down to Malchut.
When you go up to Bina,
Yes.
using the drugs, do you go to Bina of Ein Sof or you go to Bina of Malchut?
You go to Bina of Malchut. But it's the same thing, it's the same Bina. But it's Bina, it's amazing. It's all light. You know, you go, wow. I don't know what they saw, but they see, wow. But they can't hold on to it. به خاطر که پوششی درست نکردن. پله‌ای پشت سر خودشون درست نکردن. They didn't earn it. Zip up, zip down.
I don't think you should have told us that.
Jenna?
That made me very curious.
To experience.
You should have told us that.
The bad thing is, you didn't earn it. And it drops you down. You feel awful when you drop down. You feel depressed. You become depressed right after. You know, for a small period of a time, you feel wonderful. و هر چیزی که اون دراگه clear تر باشه, it takes you to a nicer frame of reference of Bina. But then again, you drop. And you drop and you drop bad. You feel so empty. به خاطر که ارنش هم نکردی, از دستش هم ندی. و bad thing is, یه چیزی رو taste کردی که it's not even yours. And you want to go back there. And you can't go back there unless you use drug again. And it gradually destroys you. به خاطر که you didn't earn it.
اینایی که مشروب میخورن به جای که خوشحال بشن ناراحت میشن.
Yes.
اونا به چه صورتی؟
دقیقاً چه کار نکردن؟
از این منظور از این
ارخصیدی ما به وجود نیاوردن. ارخصیدی ما به وجود نیاوردن. This is nice. Merci Edmond. Why am I telling you this? To understand the process of Ze'er Anpin. This process that we call Ze'er Anpin. Every time you study Kabbalah, every time you study Zohar, you're going to keep running into this Sephirot. Of Malchut of Ze'er Anpin of Bina, and all that. And if you don't understand what you're really talking about, you get confused. You don't understand what they're talking about. So what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to teach you tonight is the language and the aspect of this language. The only way we can receive this light of Chokhmah, light of wisdom, without any side effect, without any problem, is if I create light of mercy. If I create the Ze'er Anpin. So I have to create a Ze'er Anpin. I have to create یک لولی که به من امنیت بده، به من پوشش بده، به من security shield بده. ما روی پرچم کشور اسرائیل چی داریم؟ Star of David. ولی Star of David is the translation of English. What is in Hebrew? Magen David.
Shield of David.
Shield of David. Shield of David چیه؟ دو تا ترنگله که 6 تا گوشه داره. دو تا مثلثه، دو تا ترنگله که 6 تا گوشه داره. بهش میگیم Shield of David. ماگن داوید. ماگن داوید. Shield of David. نه که ستاره داوید. Shield of David. 6 تا کورنر داره. این کورنرها چی هن؟ This is Chesed. This is Geburah. This is Yesod. This is Nesach. Hod. So the lower part of this triangle is what? Is Yesod. So what is Magen David? Is the Zeir Anpin. Is the Zeir Anpin. So it is the shield. Right? It is a shield. Why Magen David? Why shield David? What is it shielding? It's shielding David. What was David? The Malchut. So what is the Magen David? It's the Zeir Anpin that gives protection to what? To Malchut. 6 تا پوینت داره. 6. Remember the numerical value of 6. 6 تا سفیرا. What is the Hebrew letter that represents the numerical value of 6? Vav. Vav is 6. شکل واو چجوریه؟ It's a yud that is long. Your spine. Your spine. Guess all the columns هایی که تورا نوشته شده با چی شروع میشه؟ Except 6 different places. The vav. وقتی که سفر تورا رو نگاه بکنین، اگه همه سفر تورا رو باز بکنین، except 6 places, all 6, starts with vav. 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 What Torah brings you? Protection. What is Torah? Zeir Anpin.
Shield.
It's a shield. It gives you protection. That's why you cannot translate Torah into Malchut language. وقتی که ترجمه فارسی و انگلیسیش میکنید, makes no sense. It becomes a joke of the people who wants to make joke of Torah. Shalom. به خاطر که in reality, the Torah is not the language of Malchut. It's the language of Zeir Anpin, the upper world, the protection shield. یاد گرفتیم که یسود represent چه چیزی توی بدن ما؟ Spine and your sexual organ. یک sexual organ. این handout, I'm so sorry about all the distraction of the voice, but it's a voice of Simcha, so it's okay. This is a human body. بهتون میدم یک کاپیشو. میبینیم که کتر بالاست، خسد خخما بینا و بعد یسود میبینیم که درست روی sexual organ قرار گرفته and is the spine. So the yesod of our body is from where your brain finishes up and your spine starts to the bottom to down here و بعد the sexual organ. That's the yesod of your physical being. کار spine cord چیه؟ ترانزیت میکنه چیو؟ Your whole mind transmits through this vav to every aspect of your body. And so it controls and it spreads the wisdom. The wisdom through every aspect of your body and beside your sexual organ. So how do we create this protection shield for ourselves? Not only creating it in our life, where is it? How do we connect to Yesod? How do we connect to Yesod?
It seems that this 6 Sephirot, everything that is in it, Yesod, Geburah, Sephirot, همه چی یه نشونه مثل خود خداست.
Yes, aspect های خدا هستن. Right.
We have that aspect.
But we have to activate it. It's in your hand to activate it. You have to activate it for yourself.
Become like it.
Yes. اگه یادتون باشه هفته پیش گفتیم سفیروتا، هر سفیرایی یک چریتی داره، یک representationی داره. ملخوت کی بود؟ داوید بود. When we learned about what David HaMelech went through, we learned about the characteristic of Malchut. We know that David experienced all kind of chaos in his life. all kind of challenges in his life, and he overcame that. He created the corrected malchut. یادتونه هفته پیش گفتیم we have a malchut and a corrected malchut. David went through all the hardship of the world of malchut, of the world of physicality, but he was able to correct it, and he became the king. He became the king of this kingdom which we call it malchut. And he's our chariot, he's our channel to connect to the world of malchut. That's why we read Tehillim, which is the book of David HaMelech, which is the book of the world of malchut. It's nice to explain that Zohar is the word of Zeir Anpin. Its Malchut represents the book of the physical world. Zohar is the embodiment of the upper world. That's why it's so difficult to understand. If you read Zohar, what is it talking about? And the whole language of the Zohar are the Sephirot. If you read it, this was the Bina of the Malchut, the Zeir Anpin of the Yesod, Netzach, Hod, Aharon had the embodiment of the Netzach and Hod. What is he talking about? You'll understand that all in a very short time. So what is the chariot of Yesod? Joseph Sadiq. Joseph is the embodiment, is our channel, is the chariot that corrected the Yesod. You remember David corrected the Malchut. Yosef corrected this gateway to the upper world. How? What happened to Yosef? What is Yosef to us in our life? What did Yosef did? Junan?
He corrected his tikkun by
refusing Zulekha. همه داستان یوسف رو میدونن. I'm sure they do. Is anybody who doesn't know the story of Yosef? No? من in a 2 minutes drill براتون یوسف رو میگم به خاطر که even though the story is very very mundane and simple but has to do everything with the word of spirituality. یوسف از 17 سالگی اسمش reveal میشه توی تورا. When he's 17, he's very beautiful. He's a handsome boy. He's the 11th son of Yaakov. برادراش بهش حسودی میکنن، میندازنش توی چاه، میندازنش توی ویل، از تو چاه درش میارن میفروشنش. He becomes a slave. How many years was he a slave? How many years he was in the dungeon, slave بود? In how many years he was in prison? I'm sorry. 12 years.
No, that was after Zulekha puts him.
Yes, after what happened. Oh, okay. So they sell him as a slave to Potiphar, which is one of the generals of Pharaoh, and he has a wife. Her name is Zulekha. Very, very beautiful. Yosef is the beauty of the male aspect. Zulekha is the beauty of the female aspect. They are soulmate. They are crazy over each other. They love each other in a very physical way. They have attraction to each other like you don't know. نه که فقط زلیخا عاشق یوسف بود. Yosef was crazy over Zulekha. Zulekha keeps trying to seduce Yosef. میدونی که یه روز گیرش میاره. She becomes naked. یوسف بچه کار میکنه. کنترل میکنه خودشو. از زلیخا فرار میکنه. لباسش پاره میشه. بعدم میندازنش توی زندان. زهر برای ما توضیح میده که the moment Yosef restricted the temptation of Zulekha, he became righteous. He became Yosef as-Sadiq. And at that moment, Zohar برای ما توضیح میده the moment که یوسف restrict کرد temptationشو to a relationship that it wasn't his. Zulekha was already married. Even though Yosef knew that she's her soulmate. She's his soulmate. But not this time around. This time around she belongs to somebody else. So she controlled he controlled his desire for her, and because he controlled the most difficult thing to control. Wait, let's don't confuse. I know what's on your mind, but wait. Yosef has an ultimate passion for Zulaikha. Ultimate passion. Zulaikha نه اینکه جلوی خودشو میگیره، نه. She's actually making the case worse for Yosef. Constantly خودشو زیبا درست میکنه، میاره خودشو یوسف تو پوینت که خودشو برهنه میکنه، naked. و بعد at the ultimate level of desire for sexuality, Yosef controls his emotion. و یاد میگیریم که در ظاهر and it's natural که controlling passion is the most difficult thing for a human being to control. به خاطر که it's purely passionate, purely emotional. There's no logic to it. It's the most difficult thing to control for a human being. وقتی که کنترل میکنه خودشو, he goes to a different level of being. He becomes righteous. میشه یوسف صدیق. All of a sudden, at that moment, he becomes the chariot of Yesod. He becomes the chariot of corrected Yesod. همونطوری که داوید ملک became a corrected Malchut, Yosef becomes a corrected Yesod. He becomes the embodiment of this gateway to Ze'er Anpin. So if I want to create the Or Hasidim, or the Ze'er Anpin, or these Magen David for myself, if I want to bring protection into my life, if I want to create a situation که نور خدا که میاد من تبدیلش بکنم به یک نوری که بتونم توی زندگیم ازش استفاده بکنم, I have to connect to this guy Yosef Sadiq, به خاطر که he represents something which is the gateway to this upper world. بعد تو را میاد توی یک داستان بسیار بسیار جالبی که روش فیلم درست کردن و فیلم‌های بسیاری درست کردن, میاد تمام سیکرت‌های یسود رو برای ما توضیح میده که what is یوسف صدیق is all about. نه تنها یوسف کنترل میکنه ایموشنشو، پشنشو، ریستریکت میکنه خودشو, he doesn't go to a place that is not his, no matter how tempted he was, no matter how difficult he was, he restricts the relationship that is not his. He understands it. Even though as hard that it was, because he pulled back from the relationship that it wasn't his, all of a sudden he raised himself to this level of righteousness. ولی جالب اینه که وقتی که این کارو کنترل میکنه تازه میندازنش زندان. تازه 10 سال میره زندان. Why Torah is playing game with us? بابا he just became righteous. نمیتونست فرار کنه بره. خدا یه استوری درست بکنه بگه آقا یوسف زلیخا اومد انقدر اینو تحریک بکنه که نشد, فرار کرد, رفت پیش پدرش. Now all of a sudden میاد میگه که no, they put him in the dungeon, they put him in jail. Why? جونم؟ اینو داشته باشید. حالا حالا اینو داشته باشین. This question let's don't answer it now. Let's play with it. من خیلی دیگه امشب این شاتری که بهم زدن I'm really after you guys. 10 سال میگذره توی مدتی که توی دانجنه. 2 تا از وزیرای فرعون میان پیشش, 2 تا خواب دیدن. You know the story? میان برای یکشون میگه خواب تو خوب تو, you're gonna survive, the other one you're gonna die. But when you go out, please don't forgive me. به فرعون بگو که forget me. به فرعون بگو که you know what, get me out. Because of this, 2 more years. He stays there 2 more years. We're not gonna even touch that too. That's for you to think about it. بعد از این 2 سال که میاد بیرون, بالاخره میاد خواب فرعون رو تعبیر میکنه and he becomes the second in command in Egypt, and at one time فقط یه superpower بوده. Egypt was the superpower of the whole world, of the whole universe. Egypt represents Malchut. Yosef becomes somebody who ruled over Malchut. You get it? Yosef became the embodiment of somebody who controlled the Malchut. بعد چه کار میکنه؟ توسط این خوابی که فرعون دیده میاد خواب فرعون رو تعبیر میکنه به هر چی که دلش میخواد. میتونست خواب فرعون رو هر چیز دیگه ای تعبیر بکنه، ولی somehow به خاطر اون intuitionی که بهش میاد خواب فرعون رو تعبیر میکنه and he gathers all the food, all the sustenance in the world توی Egypt and he becomes the governor of all the sustenance in the world. Everything. He becomes the ruler of all the blessing in the world. So not only Yosef controls his own control issues, not controlling other people, به خاطر که we have two different kind of control. من یا میتونم یه کنترل فریکی باشم مثل bad case of Scorpio که بخوام همه دنیا رو کنترل کنم، یا we have a corrected control which is what? To control myself. یعنی وقتی که یه نفر خیلی کنترلینگه مثل این آقای پوتین he wants to control the world. That's the wrong way of controlling. Yosef controlled his own emotion, his own negative desire. So Yesod or Yosef is where we can receive the power of controlling our own ego, our own negativity, and on top of that he became a person in charge of blessing, in charge of sustenance in the world. So Yosef represents two different things now. Someone who can control his emotion, control his anger, control his desire for the negativity, and he also is in charge of all the blessing. درد سرتون ندم. Yesod یا Yosef Mazal Tov represents all the blessing that we receive in the world. Everything that you want in the world. All kind of blessing. We call it sustenance. Prosperity in Kabbalah. He is the embodiment of all the blessing. Yesod or Yosef HaSaddiq. He is the channel to receive health and he is the channel to receive children. تکرار میکنم. Yesod که Yosef is the representative of this consciousness, this word, this enormous energy, this gateway, this انباری, the storage. استوریجی که من sustenance میخوام، happiness میخوام، health میخوام، children میخوام, everything that I want, I have to go see آقای یوسف صدیق. I have to go to this place, this gateway which is called Yesod. The door, the gate, the door to sustenance, children and health is through Yosef.
What a warehouse.
What a warehouse. What a warehouse. و بعد از زندگی یوسف ما چی یاد میگیریم؟ It's not easy. You're going to be tested in a big way. And even when you think that you captured the dark side, even when you run away from the most temptation that is not even yours, ممکنه بعضی وقتا جوابتو ندن، ممکنه همون موقع پاداشتو به ندن، ممکنه گلدن گلوبو به ندن، بگن you know what, you have to wait 12 years. به خاطر که blessing didn't come on Yosef's watch. The blessing came on Light's watch. رو واچ خدا اومد. نرو با چه؟ یوسف. Even at the end of the 10 years وقتی که خیال کرد 10 سال شده 10 سفیرات، این دوتا هم اومدن خوابا. Oh, it's an indication arm should be out. He was still wrong. They kept him 2 more years. یک داستان دیگری هست در تورات. میدونیم که یوسف یه خواهرم داره، دینا. You know about Dina? Who doesn't know about Dina? جیکوب 12 تا پسر داره، یه دخترم داره. این دختر اسمش هست دینا. خانم دینا یکم شیطون بوده. یه روز از توی دهکده پدرش و برادراش میاد بیرون، میره توی شهری به اسم شخم. میره توی این شهره و این شهر شخم که الان توی جزء اسرائیل هست، نابلس، جایی که درست بزرگترین گرفتاری‌های اسرائیل و فلسطینیا هست. این شخم اون موقع almost 4000 سال پیش یک پرنسی داشته. حدس بزنید اسم پرنس چی بوده؟ شخم. همون اسم شهره، اسم پرنس هم هست. این پرنس دینا رو میبینه، یک دل نه 100 دل عاشقش میشه. جونا؟ She was young. I don't know. She must have been a beautiful girl. He falls in love with her. Not only he falls in love with her, sexually he cannot control himself. میره دینا رو ریپ میکنه. It's not quite actually clear که ریپش میکنه or it was a
mutual.
البته زیاد شاید دینا راضی نبوده. We like to think this way. ولی ریپش میکنه. ولی خب he is in love with her. It's not just the lust. He loves her. میاد به اسحاق میگه که I want to marry your daughter. یعقوب میگه میبخشین که این کارو من کردم ولی I want to love her. I want to marry her. یعقوب هم میاد میگه که به یه شرط که تو اگر بیای تمام مردهای قبیلتو بریت میلا کنی من دخترم بهت میدم. اینا همه میان. داستانه is so silly and stupid but it has a secret behind it. You go nuts. تمام مردم شهر، همه مردا میان بریت میلا میکنن و بعد روز سوم بعد از عمل که it's the most painful day، شیمون و لوی، 2 تا از برادرای دینا که خیلی بهشون برخورده بوده، میان همه رو میکشن. They kill everybody in Shechem. All the males. همه مردان دیگه که بریت میلا کردن همه رو میکشن. Forget about the story. Guess where is Yosef is buried? Why Yosef is buried in Shechem? آوردنش توی شخم خاکش کردن. شخم represents lost. شخم represents something that is not yours. And you're fighting over something that is not yours. And it looks so tempting, it looks so amazing, but it's not yours. It's not yours. It's going to keep you down in the world of Malchut. There are times that we go after things that is not mine. We fall in love with the wrong person. We go after the wrong business. We fall in love with the wrong relationship. It's not mine. It looks so good. She looks fantastic. She's got this. He's got that. This business looks fantastic. This house is amazing. I want it, but it's not yours. And no matter what, we go get it. What brings with itself? Destruction, sorrow, wrong things. Shechem is a code. Is a code for desire something that is not yours. کی این درستش کرد؟ کی این desire رو fix کرد؟ Yosef. So they buried his bone in where that energy manifests itself in this world to give us the protection. So Yosef, ya Yesod, is where I can connect to not to fall into the things that they're not mine. اگر میخواین به انرژی یسود کانکت کنید خودتون، you have to participate in مراسم بریت میلا. شنیدین میگن هر کی بره برای برید میلا گوش بکنه اندازه اینه که 40 روز تعنیت گرفته. Why? First of all این اکته looks so horrible که کجاست؟ توی سوئده، توی یکی از این کشورهای اروپای سوئده که اصلا چیز کردن، گاورمنتش گفته it's inhuman، نمیذارن برید میلا کنن. تمام جویش هایی که توی این کشور هستن I don't know if it's Denmark or سوئد که مجبورن بچه‌هاشون رو بیارن یه کشور دیگه برید میلاشون بکنن. They don't let them do it. And I'm going to tell you about the Brit Milah because it has to do with the concept of Yesod being the sexual organ and the concept of Brit Milah, and I'll finish the class with that. ما یاد گرفتیم که Yesod is a sexual organ. Why is a sexual organ? Understand میکنیم که it's the vav, the زیر انپین, spine cord, and نور رو پخش میکنه. Why the sexual organ is Yesod?
از اونجا همه چیز شروع میشه.
Bravo, Yesod. No, it's cute, but it's right. Yesod is the foundation. Sexual organ and the act of sex creates what? Life. Creates light. Creates the most intensive phase of light and life. لذتی که در ecstasy sex has میگن is the taste of heaven. It's the 1/60th taste of heaven. معذرت میخوام، orgasm در sex is the ultimate joy that you taste the heaven. Why there is such a joy in this act and why the Brit Milah? چرا مردا they are born with an extra foreskin and it needs to be removed. اگر Yesod is the gateway to the life force, which we understand sexual organ is the gateway to the life force, to creation life. Right? You're with me تا اینجاش؟
Yes.
این وسط ساتان چه کار میکنه؟ ساتان چه کار میکنه؟ The dark force wants its share. میگه I want some of this light. I want to block this light because this light تمام کار ساتان رو داره به هم میریزه. ساتان میاد کجا؟ میاد at the entrance of the door. ما میزوزا رو کجا میزنیم؟ Right at the entrance of the door میزنیم. ساتان wants its share. در ظاهر برای ما توضیح داده میشه که وقتی که بچه به دنیا میاد takes about 7 days. Not about 7 days. It takes about 7 days که نشاماش کامل شه، که نفسش perfect بشه. Not only the light becomes perfect in 7 days, the dark force becomes complete in the 7 days too. یعنی درست 7 روزم طول میکشه برای بادی این بچه که به وجود بیاره یک نگاتیو فورسی رو که بهش میگن کلیپا نوگا. کلیپا به معنی شله، به معنی جلوگیریه. کلیپا نوگا is the darkest form of Satan. Is where all the darkness, all the negative forces که یک نفر میتونه با خودش تو زندگیش داشته باشه جمع میشه درست جای extra skin male sexual organ. به خاطر که that's where the light becomes manifest, that's where the entrance of the Yesod is, that's where it opens up to the world of Ze'erapin. Dark force هم میخواد بره جلوی نور رو بگیره. So it comes right at the door of Yesod. So it comes at the foreskin of the main sexual organ. And what do we do on the 8th day when this force reaches its maximum potent state? We cut it out. حالا Zohar goes into an extensive discussion of how powerful, how important it is to be at a Brit Milah. به خاطر که وقتی که when we go at a مراسم Brit Milah, when the baby is getting Brit Milah, نه تنها فورسکین بچه ریموو میشه، تمام اون کلیپانوگا ازش جدا میشه. It does the same thing for us too. یعنی ما به خاطری که throughout our life we accumulate all this negativity، ساتانه که ما رو ول نمیکنه. حالا کلیپارش هم قطع کردیم رفت، it comes after us. So we keep جمع میکنیم با خودمون این نگاتیویتی ها رو. And every time we attend a Brit Milah and we eat the food of the Brit Milah, وقتی که سبادای Brit Milah رو میخوریم, we remove that aspect of klipa noga, اون اسپکت دارکنسی که توی ما هم جمع شده و ولیوش چقدره. یعنی میگن که وقتی آدم تعنیت میگیره with the right consciousness you remove some of that negativity. removal klipa noga توی Brit Milah is equal to 40 days of fasting, of ta'anit. Noga. Klipa noga. Now the Sephirot Yesod, is it making more sense now? Is it becoming clear what it represents? So I'll give you time for a question. So it represents the power of control, the gateway to the upper world, which is by controlling, by distributing, by not only you receive blessing, you receive health, you receive sustenance. It also gives you the power to control your negative attribute. احساس میکنم یه چیز دیگه هم داشتم براتون بگم. جونم. بله. Very good. How come برای دختر نمیکنن برای پسر میکنن? How come a woman didn't come up with an extra foreskin? Woman, the female aspect of a soul is malchut. The man is the ze'erampin. The man is the embodiment of Yesod. That's why it comes with it. و یه به عبارت دیگه وقتی یک سول به وجود میاد فیمیل اسپکتش کرکشن نداره، تیکون نداره، میاد به کمک مردش، میاد به کمک میل اسپکتش. That's why the women don't go through this removal of the foreskin because they don't have that klipa when they are born with. They are born pure and beautiful. They are perfect. The man comes with a baggage to be removed. Junam?
Men generally get more tempted.
Yes, and there are other aspects to the Brit Milah too, which is a little bit too much. I'm kind of hesitating to share it with you. میترسم یه مقدار ولی میبخشیم because we're all mature and we're all aged, so I'm going to share it with you. وقتی که فورسکین سکشوال ارگن برداشته میشه یک مقدار از حساسیت جنسی هم کم میشه، یه مقدار زیادی از حساسیت جنسی کم میشه. به عبارتی تا چه حد؟ تا حدی که وقتی که یک زن و مرد با هم سکس دارن دیوریشن سکسشون وقتی که فورسکین ریموو میشه کمک میکنه به مرد که دیوریشن سکسش طولانی تر باشه، یعنی بیشتر بتونه خودشو نگه داره تا وقتی که فورسکین هست. And what's the reason for it? به خاطر که a man when he goes into a sexual relationship with a woman his purpose has to be to satisfy her, not to satisfy himself. When a man wants to satisfy himself, it's a short circuit of Yesod. Yesod has nothing to do with me. You understand? So when the foreskin is removed, it gives less pleasure to a man to help him to take care of his partner, his soulmate. So میگن که یک مرد وقتی که با یک زن سکس داره as we know زنها دیرتر از مردا به درجه اکستسی میرسن. So removal of the foreskin helps the man to have a more duration of time to help his woman to reach to that climax so they both can enjoy the 1/60th of the taste of heaven. But there is way more to it which is beyond this class.